Hello everyone, welcome to daily. Let's see if everything is working good. Looks like everything is working. So we're going to do a review today live of daily stock market analysis, and I will leave this recording there and you can see at your spare time. All right, so starting with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is, so today it's already the day is done. So you can see Bitcoin is still kind of going nowhere. If I go to 1 hour chart, you can see what's happening here. I told you yesterday we are in this big resistance box, this green box, big resistance box here, and there's this line. I have to check why I drew this line. Give me a second. I'm not sure why I drew this line, so I'll get rid of this. So basically, if you're a bull, you really want to see Bitcoin now go taking off this previous high here. This high is around 27,500. So you can see Bitcoin is chopping around. You can see this is a hidden divergence. This higher low. This high is lower than previous high. However, PPO made a new high. RSI made a new high. That's a divergence. Okay, it should not be like that. It should be, if this high is lower than this high, then it should be lower than previous high here, but it's a divergence. We were in oversold category here. Now we are going down, and if you are a bull, you want to see Bitcoin going and taking off this previous high. So if you're bullish, you really want Bitcoin to go take off this high, make a new high, all right, then go back test, and then go higher. All right, that's what you want to see if you are a bull. However, if you are a bear, this could well be a, so let me get rid of this bull scenario. If you're a bear, I think this looks like a bear flag. You can see it's consolidating, okay, and could go down. All right, so be very careful here. Bitcoin, they are both scenarios I'm giving you. So if it goes down, it's possible it will come back to this trend line. If I go to this daily chart, it's possible Bitcoin can go back to this trend line. And yeah, there's support here, and we are right on support right now. So yeah, it's possible Bitcoin can come back to this support and find buyers. But this is the box. Bitcoin is looking very weak, to be honest, from my personal point of view. So let me get rid of this resistance support lines. If you draw a Fibonacci retracement, which is here from this low, let's draw it here from this low to this high. Okay, if you draw Fibonacci, you can see 23,359 and then even 0.786. So Bitcoin can come even as low as here. So if I draw a horizontal line here, okay, Bitcoin can even come as low as here. So anywhere here from, if you go back in this box, anywhere from here to here, this is the entire buy zone. Okay, so look to buy around here. And the lower we go, yeah, another thing I want to show you on futures, there is a big gap here. This big gap here around 20,000. That's something. So if Bitcoin comes all the way down to 21,000, it's most likely going to come and fill this gap before going higher. So have your cash ready. I think Bitcoin is very weak, so most likely it's going to go down, maybe fill this gap before it goes higher. So be your cash ready. And this around mid to late July, cycle low is coming. So be careful. Yeah, and let's quickly look at the weekly chart of Bitcoin and see if we see anything else. Any new developments on weekly chart? Let's see. No, nothing new on weekly chart. Let me bring SMA lines and see if there's anything else changing. If I bring SMA lines, you can see it's, if I zoom in, you can see Bitcoin is right. Let me get rid of this. Bitcoin is right on this support. This is 200, blue line is 200 EMA. Bitcoin is right on this support around 200 EMA. Okay, so also if it comes down to 21,000, this blue line, there's also this weekly 50 SMA coming out there as well. So it is quite possible Bitcoin can also come all the way down here, find support here, and then bounce higher. Okay, so be mindful of both scenarios. Yeah. Okay, and Ethereum is same thing. Wait, one other thing which I told you yesterday. You can see this red line now crossed. If I zoom in, you see how green line now crossed red line. That's very bearish. So this is weekly, so Bitcoin is going to take a whole week. So basically today is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 3 days, it's just going to be in this range. This is going to put a lot of pressure on Bitcoin to go down. Uh, I don't see anywhere before here. Whenever that crosses, you can see whenever Bitcoin crosses, it just goes down like significantly. So it's very rare where we see Bitcoin cross and then go. Like this is a scenario. So if you want to see, if you're a bull, you want to see this. Like you can see here, if I zoom in a bit, you can see how here basically green line cross red line and then immediate dump and then pump. So this will be your best case. But even if in this dump, if I go from top to the bottom, oh wow, just that dump was like 60%. It looks very small here, but yeah, we got to be very careful, guys. Every time this happens, look at here, every time it happens, significant dump. So it's very important to be very careful here. You can, on the other side, you can wait for the reverse. You can wait for whenever this thing is over, whenever this thing is done, wait for reversal, wait for green line to go above red line. Okay, you can wait until that to get bullish again. You can see here when green line cross red line, it's the opposite. When green line cross red line, look at the pump we get. So from here, green line cross red line until here, we had 71% pump. Okay, you can see here when green line cross red line on the top side. Oops, sorry, not here. When green line went and crossed red line to the top side, you can see from here to here, 500% pump. Here, from here, let's say from here, here to here, 87% pump. Okay, so wait for a reversal. Wait for, if you want to be very conservative, wait for green to go above red line. Wait for this like this to buy again. Okay, now it's below, you sell. When green goes above red, you buy. Green goes above red, you buy. So you can have a chart like this, have an indicator like this in your if you want to buy crypto, and that's gonna be very good. This is weekly indicator. Hope that was very helpful for you. So yeah, so that's with crypto. Ethereum, same thing. I'm not gonna go into details on Ethereum. You can follow the same method. So let's quickly do an overall review. MES chart. This is wait, what happened here? Why is this candle so different? See, it looks like something weird happened here. I don't know why this thing is at 0.92. Doesn't make sense to me. This is futures here. This looks like it's more sense. So anyhow, S&P 500 SPY was up basically around 0.6%. Very bullish move. And if I go to 1 hour chart, let's look at 1 hour chart and see what happened. Did we make a new high? No, we did not make a new high. We are still, even if we made a new high, it would be on a divergence. So let's see here, and you can see RSI. We still, so it's not valid. It did not make a new high, so I cannot really say. Let's say Dow Jones. I think Dow Jones made a new high. It did. So, but you can see what's happening on Dow Jones. You can see it made a new high. However, PPO is lower momentum. RSI is lower momentum. Okay, so most likely this will fail. Let's see what happened on Russell. You can see what's happening on Russell. It's making new highs, but you can see what's happening on PPO and RSI. These two are going lower. You can see here RSI, PPO is going lower, RSI is going lower, so it's losing momentum. Okay, and you can also draw a trend line on Russell 2000, something like this. If it breaks, that's your sell signal. Also, it's finding support right on this hourly 50 SMA line. So if it breaks that, then it's going to be very bearish. So anyhow, let's quickly go back to MES, and although it looks really weird here on the MES chart, but you can see my projections here, looking for lower prices, looking for this dip, basically late June dip. So looking for some dip before we go. Oh, I already had that here, took a while. So looking for this price action, it's taking a while. It's testing, basically tricking everybody, but I'm not interested in this price action, although it looks like a bull flag. Okay, but a lot of times even here it dumped, and let's see if we can find some scenarios here. You can see this is similar here. It looked like a bull flag, broke out, and then back down again. Okay, and got to be careful here. I'm not interested. I will wait for a pullback. Let this market do whatever it wants. Wait for a pullback. This is not the time to go long. Also here, basically this rotation of 5.92. Wait for 3% dip at least. Okay, now we're back minus 0.18. So still we are going down, but I'm not interested until we have 3% dip from here at minimum on S&P 500. So I'm just going to wait patiently and see where market takes us. And SPY, this is the ETF you can use to trade S&P 500. If I go to 1 hour chart, you can see massive gap here, 421. If I go to daily chart, you can see what's happening here. There's a gap here around 421. There's also 409. That's the other best. So when it goes down, it's gonna probably I think next week is FOMC, so I feel like Feds will do something. Bank of Canada raised 0.25, Australia raised 0.25, most likely US will also follow. So if they raise rates, it's gonna be a massive selling, and one day we can have a massive pullback. Okay, so look to buy. Don't get too bullish here. Okay, this is a significant level. If I go to weekly SPY, you can see where we are. You can see right at the big resistance zone here. So do not, yeah, this is not the time to be bullish. Wait for a pullback, guys. Okay. And if I go to 1 hour chart, I want to show you something. This one also did not make a new high, but even if it made a new high, it would be in a divergence. So be careful. Nasdaq 100, US 100 chart, 1 hour chart, V-shaped recovery, trying to do that, but you can see what's going on here. It's just a back test of previous support. So this was a support here. Okay, big zone here. So it just came, broke down, doing a back test, and it's about to fail, looks like. Okay, so nothing much is happening here. It really needs to go and break this to be bullish, but I think it looks like this top here on Monday was the top. And if I go to MNQ cycle chart here, this is the daily chart. It's taking a while to load. This is a daily chart. You can see divergences still building on daily chart, and also you can see what happened. We got a red signal on RSI, and if I zoom in PPO, we haven't gotten yet. So you can see it's about to cross. It's pointing downwards, but green line is about to cross red line. So we've got to be very careful. If it crosses, we're gonna get a big dump. So I think we are almost there before we get a dump. So be very careful, looking for a dip, and then another small rally, and then another major pullback. Triple Qs. Let's quickly look at triple Qs. You can see here, daily chart, there's a gap here. So looking for this gap to fill at minimum 332 before we go higher. I'm not interested in any tech stocks which are pumping, Tesla, whatever. I'm not interested. I'm just going to be patiently waiting for a pullback. VIX keep going lower, but we need to be very careful here, guys. If I go to weekly chart, you can see VIX last time it was here was in 2020. Yeah, it can go slightly lower again, but you can see what happens, right? So every time it goes here, it can bounce. Any day it can bounce. So gotta be very careful here. Time to buy is when VIX is high here around 30s. Time to buy is not when VIX is around 13 or below 14. This is the time to sell and take profits. That's what I think big institutions should be doing right now. I covered US 30. So US 30 made a new high. This is daily. Yep, made actually only here it made a new high, but on divergence, 1 hour shows big divergence. Let's see, you can see made a new high on divergence on PP and RSI. Looking for lower prices as with S&P 500, looking for lower prices. US 2000 was 0.6% up, pulling down a bit, looking for another like this big box here. This is a big support zone now. Now we broke out. So looking for a back test of this, then we go higher. Okay, dollar here, looking for lower prices in dollar. Crude oil had something very interesting. If you go to 1 hour chart, you can see what happened here today. They dipped it very heavily and then pumped right back up. Okay, so they dumped and now it's back tested. Now I think we're going down. So that tells me we are going down in energy sector, looking for lower prices. Natural gas is basically nothing, doing chopping around, building a lot of momentum here. Looks like the low might be in already, like this low here, 2.1. This might be the low on natural gas. So just roaming around here and probably gonna bottom here and then pump one day. Already covered crypto. Gold, again back testing, basically broke down or back testing. It's finding resistance right here around this white line, 20 EMA. And I think it's going to fail, looking for gold to buy around 1900. Silver, same thing, a massive candle up. But let's see on 1 hour chart, is there any divergence or anything we see here? New high, no divergence, so it's a solid chart, looks good. Silver is looking very bullish. We'll see, but it's in sell zone here. So silver is in sell zone, finding resistance on 50 SMA, daily SMA. Looking for a pullback. Copper is something I'm very interested in. Looking for a bottom in copper very soon. It's finding resistance on this 200 EMA line, the dark blue line, but looks like copper is going to fail very soon. And this is the buy zone between 3.73 to 3.55. Looking to buy around here. Palladium had a very bearish day. Let's go to 1 hour chart and see if we find anything here. And you can let's see Palladium. I think I draw some resistance line here on 1 hour chart. This is the, let's make it a bit better here. Let's extend this. Let us extend this like here. We zoom out a bit. So yeah, looks like we are still just hanging in here for Palladium. Going down, is there any divergence on 1 hour chart? Still divergence. RSI, let's see, slight divergence on RSI. You can see this low here. So this low, new low, but with divergence on PP and RSI. Still looking good, still looking good. Looks like still it's back testing, breakout, just back testing it. You can buy ETF PALL for Palladium. This is the ETF if you want to play Palladium. Not a lot of volume, but it's same as Palladium. So Palladium is looking good. Daily chart of wheat. Again in this bullish falling wedge. Just falling a wedge here and it's going to break out any day. Nothing changed. You can see if I hide these SMA lines. You can see it's just in a bullish wedge. I'm just looking for a breakout. Coffee was up 5%. Looks like coffee already bottomed here. So it looks like it's just pumping. So let me bring SMA lines back. This looks like a breakout here. This is a breakout candle. Coffee is looking good. Bonds. Green day today in bonds, but looking for lower prices. In bonds, nothing changed. Let's quickly look at sectors. XLE, 0.43% down. Multiple gaps to the downside, looking for these gaps to fill. So there's a gap here around 80, another gap here around 77, and then this massive gap here around 71. XLU. XLU is looking good. XLU is looking good. You can see this green line cross red line, and we have a buy signal. So yeah, XLU is looking good. Also, it's above this trend line, so looking for a bounce here. XLV, which is healthcare ETF, you can see XLV also, it's on this trend line here. I think it will come up very soon. You can see this trend line. Looking for any pullbacks to be bought. This also is a gap here around 128.69. Looking for that gap to fill and then test this trend line and then go higher. XLI kind of flat, but another gap here, massive gap here. Looking for that gap to fill on XLI around 98.12 before going higher. Real estate was down 0.6%. Again, it also has gaps. So looking for those gaps to fill before going higher, gap to fill. XLF flat, not much change. This massive gap is bothering me, which is around here, around 32 bucks. You can see this gap here. I'm looking for that gap to fill before we go higher. And Tesla had a very bullish day. Tesla had a very bullish day, and also after hours they announced GM is also going to use their charging network. So this stock just keeps pumping. It's just on a parabolic move. If I go to weekly chart, you can see, let me hide these SMA lines. You can see what's happening here on Tesla, just going straight up, guys, just straight up. Okay, this is not where you gotta be very careful here. Okay, so let me get rid of this Fibonacci. I'll leave it there for now, but looks like it's a flag and now it's breaking out. So let's see if we draw a trend line to see what can happen. If I take this trend line from here, depending on when this flag breaks out, it can even go to like 318. That's also a possibility, but this is a very parabolic move. You can see parabolic move here, cool down, again parabolic move, really need to cool down. So you can see parabolic move, then cools down, another parabolic move, cools down. Very careful here, guys. Have a stop loss in case you are holding Tesla and have profits, but I'm not interested in trading Tesla right now. And looking for a pullback on Tesla here at minimum here, and then a bounce and then go lower. Apple, let's go to Apple daily chart. Again, looks like it could be like a blow off top look. New high made. Now we're going down. Another dead cat bounce, and then we'll go lower. Okay, so be very careful. Multiple gaps to the downside. Google. Again, looks like a new, this is an engulfing candle. Google is the first one showing you a way, showing there's another gap here, massive gap around 1113.02. And let's see if this gap is filled. Let's go to 1 hour chart. Yeah, this gap is filled, so we can get rid of this. Okay, so Google is looking like it wants to fill this gap down. Microsoft, see how Microsoft, there's a massive gap here around 280. These gaps will be filled. Another gap here around 316. Eventually these gaps will be filled. So let's go to 1 hour chart. Did it gap down and create another gap? No gaps here. Looking for lower prices. Snowflake up 3%. Let's see. Nothing here. Looking for lower prices. Meta was down at one point and then now it recovered by the end of the day. Looking for lower prices on Meta as well. Amazon, let's go and see if it gapped up, created another gap today. Let's see, looks like there's another gap now here, so we have to make another gap here for Amazon. This is another gap here. Let's make it green. This gap eventually get filled. I just don't know when, but most likely it's going to come back to fill these gaps. Netflix, let's see, no gaps here. There's a gap here around 379. Looking for that gap to fill at some point. NVDA, just chopping around. You can see very weak price action. AMD, let's see how AMD is doing. Again, a gap here around 109. Looking for that gap to fill. Nothing interesting on AMD. Intel up 1.73%, going lower. Disney is the one of the stocks which is holding very well. Market goes down or up, it's staying. I think looks like this. The only thing which bothers me on Disney is this gap is around here. 88.80. So if sometime we can come back and fill this gap, I'll be very happy to buy Disney around 88.7. I can even place an order now. Whenever that gap fills, looking for bounce after that. Nike also same thing. There's a gap here on Nike around 103. Looking for that gap to fill before a bounce. Okay, I think that's a good overview. Let's see. I don't have multiple screens, so let's see if we can find any of your questions here. Let's see. I don't see any questions here, so I'm going to stop this, I guess.